Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more F1 My Team career mode. It's been a while, a couple of days since the last video and a couple of days since the last My Team episode, and there's a good reason for that. So in the first part of this video guys, so for practice and qualifying, I was using a broken wheel. So I used a Thrustmaster TSPC Racer. Now the actual motor was fine, but the actual add-on, the wheel, the rim, which is the one I use right here, the paddle shifters in the back, they stopped working. So originally it was a downshift paddle, and then the upshift one started to play up. I investigated it, tried to do a bit of work, and to be fair, a simple fix, some good old-fashioned WD-40, got it working again to an extent. So I was able to do some shifts, you know, sometimes I'd get a double shift or no shift, and yeah, I tried to put up with it as long as I could. I've had it for a little while now, about 2 years. You can see I've got a bit of rust on the paddle from its use, and also the suede on the grips is pretty, you know, pretty worn out, you could say. It's quite shiny where it should be like this, where it's not furry, but it's kind of gone a bit, you know, solid over time. And to be fair, I've put a lot of mileage into it, but unfortunately it was the end of its life. So for qualifying, I'm going to be racing with a broken wheel. Luckily, I put a delivery in, made it order because obviously this wasn't working anymore, so I had to buy a new one. So I bought a new rim, and somehow it arrived today on a Sunday, which is insane of all days, and I have a brand new one here. So I was able to record the race today on the brand new wheel. You can see brand new, shiny, of course the paddles all fresh, and also the grips as well, brand new. So I'm hopefully going to take a little bit better care of this one. I'm going to start using gloves from now on, but basically I'm using an old broken wheel for the first part of the video and this new version for the race onwards. So that's why there's been no videos the last 2 days, guys. But nonetheless, we are back in business. So let's get today's episode underway. First of all, though, a quick plug. If you missed the last episode, guys, then go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. I believe it was Monaco. So yeah, go check that out. And yeah, let's jump into it and let's see how things go around Baku. Here we go then, back down to business, and as you can see on screen, looking at the weather forecast this weekend, we do have a chance of rain for the race. Also, once again, more upgrades onto the car. This weekend we have an ultimate engine upgrade, and we are now really far ahead and well clear of Mercedes in the changing of the guard in the R&D graph. And also, we're now starting to work on some durability, as I mentioned in the previous episode, and that's going to be the focus from now on until Mercedes kind of start to catch us again. When they do, we'll revert our focus back to outright performance related upgrades. But for now, reliability is a bit of a concern, so I need to make sure we kind of sort that out in the next couple of races. But nonetheless, moving into practice this weekend, guys, at Baku. You guys know by now I'm not the biggest fan of this track, but historically there have been some crazy races, and you know, practice and qualifying with my wheel issues is going to be quite interesting because we have got the fastest car, but I could see I was actually quite down on pace. You know, practice went well, we went quickest because on the soft tires there's so much more pace, but I was missing gears, I was double shifting, and I knew that when it comes to qualifying and the engine's getting turned up, I might be in some trouble. So yeah, overall that pace in practice was kind of my limit already in a way, whereas normally I've got a bit more in the tank. So we had a good practice session. We scored over 1,000 R&D points. We also leveled up to level 17 on the Acclaim, and with that we moved into qualifying 1, and this was going to be the first test of my issues to see if I could somehow make it work. You know, originally I was going to do the race on my backup wheel, the G29, but I just had to survive qualifying. That was all I had to do. And yeah, to be fair, at this point I still thought the wheel would be okay to survive, but it kind of gradually got worse as the session went on, and that was when I realized by the end of it I can't use it anymore. So at this point there weren't many issues. You know, the wheels were performing okay. A bit of a double shift there, you may have just seen in the bottom right, but we got held up a little bit here by this McLaren through the chicane, Lando Norris, who I believe was gearing up for a lap, so his red light stopped flickering, you know, on the way through the chicane, and that means he's getting ready for a hot lap. So I quickly pulled over to the left to cut him off and also let him go so that I wouldn't hold him up into the first corner. We set our first time lap at 1:35.6. We then went for a second attempt, and this one was a bit better, a bit of a cleaner lap, no issues in terms of traffic. We lost a little bit of time due to a lack of tow from Lando, but we are going to improve by near enough 0.4 of a second as we cross the line and set a 1:35.2. We move up to P6, and only less than half a tenth off Sebastian Vettel, who's currently in P4, and that lap would be enough to see us comfortably into Q2. Daniel Ricciardo, quickest of all, and half a second quicker than his nearest challenger, Valtteri Bottas. And worth noting, myself 9/10 off my teammate, and this is where, again, in qualifying, with the engines turn up, I could start to see the issues, and Ricciardo was a lot quicker than me, and there was not much I could do about it because I was kind of limited. But with that said, we move into Q2, and as you can see here, going through the castle section, this was my first run in the Q2 session, and to be fair, it wasn't going too bad. We have a little double shift on the exit there, out of the exit of the castle section on my first lap. That was the first issue I had up until that point. And then we skip on towards the end of the lap, and of course this is just a flat out drag to the line. And to be fair, it kind of helps in a way because sector 3 is my strongest sector anyway, so the fact there's not many gear shifts kind of helps because we can just go flat out to the line, and that will help limit some of the damage. We cross the line, we go P6, 1:35.2, so we match our Q1 lap time in Q2. And after that we then skip on to my best lap of Q2. Now as you can see, we're currently P8, and we need to improve because we could be getting knocked out. So we're going to go for a full lap of Baku in this session. Down towards turn 1, braking as the curb appears on the right hand side. Third gear quickly up to fourth on a short shift. We then make our way down towards turn number 2. Second gear, pick up your apex again, another short shift on the exit as we then open the DRS and make our way onto the back straight down towards turn number 3. Up until this point, everything is working well. No double downshifts or missed gears as we run a bit wide there, just fractionally missing our apex into turn 3. Now into turn number 4, quickly on the short shift on the exit, and you can see there the rev limiter max out. That was my first really bad missed gear. So I was pressing the upshift pedal, nothing was happening, and the revs were just maxing out there on the exit. Then out of the chicane, down towards the hairpin, second gear, attack the apex, and then short shift on the exit, quickly back on the gas as we make our way towards the castle section in fourth gear, up the hill, then down to third through the little right-left chicane, and short shift again on the exit to maximize traction as we do find a bit of time on our delta, and we now make our way towards the end of sector 2 into this very tricky left-hander, blind on entry, over the bump, slightly off camber, attacking the curbs there, being very aggressive with the turn-in as we now make our way down towards the final brake zone of the lap. This tricky off-cambered and very understeery 90-degree left-hander as we now make our way onto the gas. And to be fair, this was actually not too bad of a lap. Obviously, we had that really bad miss-shift at the start of the lap, and there was a few other missed shifts as well. I remember clicking the paddle for a gear shift that didn't happen once or twice, and it affected the gears that I exited certain corners with. But generally, a small improvement, half a tenth, and we go P7. So not the big improvement I hoped for, but again, partly down to not being able to run each gear that I want through every single corner. And eventually we finished Q2 in P9. Ricciardo fastest once again, 4/10 clear of Bottas, and he was nearly a full second quicker than me in this session. So Ricciardo even quicker again. I tried my best, but again, like I said before, in practice I kind of hit my peak in practice. That was me pretty much maxed out already, so not good by any means. But we now move on to Q3. Now this is when things got really bad. So here we go, turn 1 first of all on my one and only lap. On the exit we get a double shift there, and then we get another double shift again going down towards turn number 2. We then get back on the gas on the exit of that corner, and to be fair, we get another double shift once again. So 3 double shifts already on this lap as we now go down towards turn 3. 100-meter board down to third gear. This time we don't run too wide. We pick up our apex beautifully as we now go turn 4. Second gear, short shift on the exit, another double shift there again, and just generally it was starting to get really bad at this point. We make our way through the left-right chicane, and this lap has to be good because it's our only set of fresh soft tires we have left, so it's all or nothing on this lap. We then brake hard for the hairpin, second gear, attack the curbs, once again short shift on the exit, and then this is where things went wrong. Double shift on entry, I'm in 5th gear and I understeer into the wall, and I was exactly what I was afraid of, and it happened in Q3. You can see here, I thought I was in 4th gear, it turns out I was actually in 5th. We strike the wall, and that is going to be us out of qualifying, and the issue occurred here. So on the exit of the hairpin, I went from 2nd gear and then 3rd all the way up into 5th when I thought I was in 4th, and that ruined my momentum because had I been in 4th gear, I wouldn't have got that understeer that you normally get from running in a higher gear, and I would have made the corner. But because I was in 5th, I picked up the understeer straight into the wall, and that is going to be the end of our qualifying session. So, like I said, the issues kept on getting worse throughout the session, and by the end I realised that I could not do a race with this wheel, hence why things kind of stopped on the channel for 2 days because I had nothing prepared, nothing pre-recorded. So Ricciardo on pole, and he dominated. To be fair, in the end, Bottas did close the gap, but still Ricciardo Ricciardo, P1 fastest of all, and Alex Albon in 3rd place for Red Bull ahead of Hamilton, which is quite surprising. We then move over to the rivalry breakdown. Of course, due to the qualifying issues, Hamilton does outscore us here today by a point, but we still have the lead 8-5 and still plenty of races to go, so I'm sure this rivalry will definitely take some twists and turns in the future. And for us, of course, no real acclaim bonuses. It's all on Ricciardo for getting pole, but still a first pole position for Daniel Ricciardo. That is history right there, and he's going to be the favourite to win the race tomorrow. Either way, guys, that is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race with my brand new wheel here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Now then, let's take a look at Nick de Vries. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, just edging out Alexander Albon, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and Gasly, Perez, Ocon, Martinez, and Daniel Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Norris, Sebastian Vettel, and Kvyat, Verstappen, Magnussen, Jack Aitken, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, and Nick de Vries. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Well then guys, here we are. It's time for the race here at Baku, and as you can see, we start from P9. We've been promoted by 1 place due to penalties, and we're still a long way away from where I wanted to be. I think, you know, I'm ready now to hopefully fight back through the field. I've got my brand new wheel now, so things should be back to normal, and I'm expecting to have a little bit better pace, so we're going to have to get some overtakes done in this race, which I'm very much looking forward to. We're not on the perfect strategy, you know, starting on the soft tyres around here is quite tricky, so yeah, we're starting on the softs, then moving on to the hard compound tyres later on, so it's not my preferred strategy, but the one we're going to have to go for anyway, and of course we've got that chance of rain right at the end of the race, so that's going to make things very interesting. Fuel-wise, I've gone for 0.2 less, so just underfill the car a little bit, because I want to try and be a little bit more aggressive at the start and make those soft tyres last the distance. So let's see how it goes. The rain might arrive earlier, you don't know, so it's going to be an exciting race, guys. If you're excited, drop a like and let's get today's race underway. Right, let's see what kind of start we get. We've got Daniel Ricciardo behind us, of course, due to a grid penalty when he was on pole position. But lights out and away we go. Ricciardo gets an absolute flyer off the line. We're going to just be careful here around the outside of turn 1. We're going to try and leave plenty of room on the inside for Daniel. And looks like Ricciardo's actually got past Ocon, to be fair, which is good. Down to turn 2. Just trying to take it easy here. Gasly not getting the best exit. We may have a chance to get by the Renault, but look at the speed on the straight of the Renault there as we go down towards the brake zone of turn 3. We want to try and go very late on the brakes. Around the outside of Pierre, we almost brushed the wall, but we just avoid it. Keep our front wing in one piece, and we move up into P7. So a very good start from us. Carlos Sainz just up ahead, so let's see if we can put some pressure on early on and try and make a few more places up, because this is exactly what we needed. Hopefully Ricciardo can follow me through as well, because at the minute we are giving away a lot of points to Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, so we need to fire back in this race and try and fight our way back to the front. So we're going to get a head down and see if we can get past some more cars here in the next couple of laps or so. But so far, it's been a very good start to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Here we go. We're putting a bit of pressure on Sainz here. I'm not using any overtake. I'm going to try and save it. The AI should run out of overtake very soon. Now we're going to use it. Here we go. We get to run it all the way up to the line. Sainz just runs out of energy. You can see his light flashing there, which is going to give us a chance to get the run as we go to the outside of the first corner and move up into P6. There we go, beautifully timed move. Just being cautious on the ERS, you know, using the slipstream instead and then using it.
We're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Yeah, the engine wear is going to be a bit of an issue today. We shouldn't be too bad. We may be slightly down on power, but generally, you can see on the right-hand side there, we do have a bit of wear starting to kick in. Of course, we've not changed any of the components yet this season, so that's to be expected. But having said that, we should be okay to get to the end on this current allocation. As you guys saw in the last episode, now we're starting to put some work in on the durability side of things, so that should hopefully come into effect more towards the second half of the season. So for now, that aside, we're going to focus back on our racing here. We've got 3 cars up ahead. We've got Perez, Leclerc, and the Red Bull of Verstappen, I'm guessing. So I think I'm quicker than all 3 of these guys. Mercedes out front starting to put some distance. So we need to try and get past all 3 of these guys as quick as possible. Well, we have DRS on Perez now, so this is going to get very interesting. Meanwhile, behind us, Ricciardo up to P8. So he's making good progress as he gets past Pierre Gasly. This is good from us. You know, in this race, we need at least, worst case scenario, a 3-4 finish in terms of positions. But if we can get any more than that, that would be great. But for now, I'm also trying to make sure we keep our fuel under control. No word on the rain yet on the radio, so we're still waiting to hear from that.
Power from the engine is going to be down slightly. It's showing some minor wear.
Yep, we know all about that. Don't worry about it, Jeff. Right, we're starting to get very close now. I'm putting some pressure on these guys. The AI now have turned their engines down after the first couple of laps, as they always do. And suddenly now we've got a lot more pace than before. So I'm feeling very racy behind Perez. Just got to try and get some traction down, which is going to be an issue. Rear tyre wear around here is a killer, as you can see. Let's see if we can get past Sergio Perez here. Oh, Sergio, a bit loose through the far chicane. That's going to put me right on the back of him here. We're going to save the ERS and wait for the DRS. Now we can push. Come on, let's see. 355 kph. It's very close. Trying to have a look there. Perez goes defensive. We're going to get the switchback out of turn 1 there. Meanwhile, Leclerc and Albon actually battling up ahead. So it's not Verstappen. Perez out of shape again. Oh, struggling for traction there, but we're still close enough. We can make this happen. Come on, come on, come on. Switch to the outside. Oh, Perez going for a big lunge there. He's a bit slow mid-apex. Ricciardo, meanwhile, now behind us. He's got past Carlos Sainz. Trying to see if I can get past his racing point. Whoa, we both get a bit loose on the exit there. Losing the traction. Ricciardo goes down the inside, and I've got to let him go. Ricciardo catching me out there. I've got some really poor traction, and that allowed Ricciardo through, so fair play. I'm not bothered as long as we make our way through the traffic quickly. I don't really care in what order we do it, but let's see if Ricciardo can try and get past Perez. Ricciardo getting a bit loose through there, losing a bit of time. He goes defensive into turn 4. I don't really want to waste time battling here, so I'll let Ricciardo get on with it, but this is not ideal for us. He's just going unnecessarily defensive into each corner when I'm not even really putting that much pressure on him. But for now, Ricciardo wasn't able to make a move on Perez that lap. Let's see if we can do something on this lap. We're getting close to the pit stop window now as well. Okay, Mercedes in the pit lane. Interesting. Bottas already. Onto the mediums, it looks like. I can't tell, but surely he's got to stop again. 20 laps on mediums around here is a lot. That's a long way to go. You have to go to at least lap 10 or 12 to get those mediums to the end. So I'm guessing Valtteri Bottas on a potential 2-stop. Meanwhile, we're a bit stuck here at the minute. We can't really make any progress. These 4 cars ahead of us, they've just got such a strong DRS effect that I can't really get anywhere near on the straights. I can get a bit close in the corners, but again, I don't really want to just lunge on my teammate out of nowhere because it's going to affect us both. So I'm kind of waiting to see if Ricciardo can pull the trigger. If not, I may consider the undercut as an option. I believe we're due to pit next lap for the hard tyres. Oh my goodness me, that was a big one. Big oversteer moment there. That's going to drop me out of the RS range, which is not ideal. Just struggling on my rears quite a lot. To be fair, at this point, I'm just waiting for the pit stop. We're going to stick to it. Ricciardo actually pits, to be fair, so we've got to stay out for another lap anyway. So let's see what we can do. Perez actually stays out for one more.
Daniel's in the pits.
Let's see if we can close out to Perez here. Potentially maybe even pass him before the pit lane.
We're coming in this lap.
If we can pass Perez on this in lap before the pit lane entry, that'd be pretty sick. But let's see first if we can close up to him. Right, we're pretty close to Perez. I've had a very good in lap. I feel like I've got good pace. We're currently on for a personal best lap as it stands. Let's see if we can pass Perez before the pit entry. We're going to use all of our ERS. Perez getting loose. through the far chicane. Come on, let's get in before the pit entry. That'd be ideal if we could. Yes, let's go, 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 go. Yes, there we go, we've done it. I know you can talk about the white line and everything, but still, it's just a video game. But we get Perez into the pit lane as Hamilton pits in the Mercedes. So he's going for the one stop here today. Now it's all about the pit stop battle. We have to be perfect. Let's see if the team deliver the goods. Come on, guys, quick stop here. Let's go.
Go now.
2.8, it's not quick, but we're still out ahead, crucially.
Stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
We're going to rejoin just behind our teammate, Daniel Ricciardo, who's behind Leclerc. There's a big train of cars here. We've been really, thrown straight into the midfield here, but crucially ahead of Perez. So we've gained a place, and that's also given Ricciardo an extra position as well. So that works out for both of us. Now let's see if we can make some progress on this stint. Big overtakes coming up here, though. We need to make some moves for that podium. Here we go. Looks like we've got some battles here. Ricciardo making his way through as Jack Aiken in the pit lane for Alfa Romeo. We're just going to try and be careful because there's a lot of traffic here, slower cars, and I want to try and get past them as quick as possible in an effective manner. Let's see if we can get past Grosjean here. We've got good straight line speed now with the engine upgrade. Look at this, we're going to breeze past now on the brakes. Can we go late enough? Yes, we can. Easy does it. There we go, we're slotting behind Rick Bobby, Daniel Ricciardo. Let's see if we can keep up here. Interesting to note as well, Leclerc on mediums, just like Valtteri Bottas. So if those two are two-stopping, that means both myself and Ricciardo would gain 2 more places. If you add on, of course, also the Perez gain, that would be 3. So we should be pretty close to the podium now, in theory. We've got to try and close up to Albon, to be fair, but I'm not sure where Albon is anymore. Everything's really scrambled because of the strategy offset with all the other cars. Well, Ricciardo's going to go for a move here. He gets a bit loose, but he's going to go for the move on Giovinazzi. I might actually get both of them here, to be fair, and that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. DRS. Let's see if we can get the 2 of them and get back ahead of my teammate. There we go, job done. Down to the apex, get it slowed down. And there we go, we're through and ahead of Ricciardo once again in this race. Back to where I was at the beginning before I made that mistake. Well, to be fair, I made a bit of a mess of that one there. Turn 2, bit of a tight exit. Here comes Ricciardo again. Do I fight this? Do I not fight this? I'm going to fight this. But Ricciardo, to be fair, very late on the brakes. We go around the outside though. There we go. We can breathe. I don't really want to do this. Ricciardo's actually been passed by Giovinazzi, so this is what I mean by battling. It costs you so much time. Either way, let's get after Magnussen, who's the next car. Right, let's go. Let's try and dispatch of Kevin Magnussen and make another place. Kevin there getting a bit loose through the chicane. He's using quite a bit of engine mode, I could tell, because he's pretty quick on the straight. But we're coming through nonetheless. It's going to happen, so let's get this one done. Meanwhile, up ahead, Leclerc getting past Nick de Vries. We're struggling here to close in on Magnussen, but he's got very little tyre life and very little grip, and we go around the outside and make a nice easy move. Let's not overcook it this time to turn 2. Keep it a lot tidier, unlike the last lap with Ricciardo. And there we go, job done and up into the top 10. Oh, a bit wide there, just running it a bit hot on the brakes, but we're close enough to make a move here on Nick de Vries. This should be a very straightforward one. I'm not even going to need that much rich mix or ERS, I think, to get this one done, even though it's a Ferrari engine on that car. To be fair, we might actually get a bit of a double toe from Leclerc, which could be interesting. Oh, de Vries with a bit of a late move there. We're going to use Leclerc though as a slipstream. Into turn 1, de Vries trying to keep his nose there, but we're going to just manage to outbrake him enough to stay ahead. And there we go, we're now behind Mr. Charles Leclerc as we move up to P9. Still waiting, for, of course, for those one-stoppers to start pitting. That should happen very soon, and that should give us our true position in this race. I was going to go for a move on Leclerc this lap, but I think he's just managed to creep within DRS range on Norris. Although, to be fair, that's going to help. Leclerc getting loose through the far chicane. That's going to be our opening to make a move on the Ferrari driver. Here we go. Leclerc does have the DRS as I feared, but that exit has really hurt him badly. Verstappen in the pit lane as well. And we move up into the top 7 of the race. And we're now behind Lando Norris. We've got Bottas up ahead, struggling to make progress on those mediums and still kind of stuck in traffic. So this is interesting now. I want to say we're in a net P2. maybe P3, I'm not sure, but we've definitely improved. Ricardo's following me through as well, so he's also making his way up the order here. Right, let's get this moved on then. Lando also struggling through the far chicane. This is going to be a very easy overtake. No DRS for the McLaren. We should breeze by, and he's not going to pit either, so that's going to make the move even easier. Meanwhile, Ricardo about to put a move on Leclerc, I believe, behind us. Let's see if he gets that one done. Just looking at the positions in the top left. Looks like Ricardo is currently in the process of getting that move done. Bottas still can't get past Kvyat up ahead of us, but Ricardo looks like he has got ahead of Charles Leclerc, so good stuff. And we're slowly climbing the order now, but this is looking very good for us here today. Looks like neither of the two ahead are going to pit. I'm not quite close enough to challenge, but they are battling away here as we set a new personal best. Let's see what happens between these two. I'm going to see if I can get Kvyat maybe on the run down to turn 3 possibly. Turn 2, make sure everything's nice and clean through there. Easy on the traction, very nice, no wheel spin at all. This should be a nice easy move here, so it's not going to be the 2-for-1 special, but it's going to be, you know, one car less as we get past Kvyat. Here he comes wide into us, and we've got wing damage.
Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage.
Oh my goodness me, there's understeer galore. How has Kvyat done that to me? How has that happened? How has that happened? I was contemplating staying out, but I'm going to just pit and play it safe. We've got a fresh set of mediums. Bottas is going to pit this lap anyway, so we're going to just follow him in and take the pain and try and make a bit of a comeback drive. So here we go then into the pit lane. Make sure that front wing does get fixed, as we're going to see if we can try and go for a late recovery push on those mediums and crawl our way back into the points, because we're going to be a long way away from the top 10 here. Right, this is going to be a slow stop, a painful stop. We're going to drop down way down the order. Come on.
Go, go, go.
6.1, not bad actually for a front wing change pit stop. We're going to rejoin side by side with an Alpha here. Jack Aitken. Can we get him straight away, maybe? Or will it be too much to ask? On the fresh tyres, maybe with full engine power, maybe we can make this move. Come on. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious about going around the outside of that corner after what happened just now to, you know, me versus Kvyat. Going to keep this pressure on Aitken here. He's obviously struggling for pace. Can I get past somewhere different maybe and just dispatch with him nice and early? I'm trying to get the switch back through there. We do get the run. I thought about it, but Aitken there just swipes across my nose. Okay, we're going to have to just be patient, wait a little bit longer. But we'll get him now any second. We need to get a move on here because we've lost so much time. We're down to P15, we're at the points. And I believe Hamilton's on course to win the race. So all that hard work in the championship to get ahead of Lewis is all going to be for nothing at this rate. Looks like we're not going to be able to get by just yet. Or maybe we can. No, maybe not. Aitken's running it wide there. This is costing me so much time. I'm just going to have to get him here. Although, to be fair, I want DRS. That's going to be really important. So we'll just get him with the DRS. But we've lost so much time this lap. It's unbelievable. All right, let's get this one over and done with quickly. Put Aitken out of his misery and get on with it. You can't even see a car up the road. I can only see Norris right in the very, very distance as Gasly pits for Renault. So to be fair, we are going to gain an extra place. But P13, we've got work to do. A couple of purple sectors, getting straight down to business here. We need to try and get into those points. We should be able to do it. New fastest lap hopefully will also guarantee that extra point with these tyres. So that's one small positive consolation I can take. We've still got a long way to go. And I want to try and score some decent points as well. I still think maybe a top 5 could be possible. I might be reaching here, but Leclerc's got to pit again, I believe. Or he might have already done that, but he should be too far away. And I genuinely believe I've got the best pace out of anybody around here on race pace, so I don't think a top 5 is out of the question. Okay, actually we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane. Kvyat and Magnussen. That's going to give us P11 in this race, so we're not actually that far away, which is even more the reason why I said I think a top 5 is possible. Also, it's starting to get dark now over the streets of Baku. Interesting, rain maybe not too far away. I can see a big battle in the distance, right going to turn 3. So there's definitely cars we're approaching here. Oh, Carlos Sainz out of the race. Okay, interesting. Is he ahead of us? Leclerc in the pit lane for Ferrari. There he is on his 2-stop. As I expected. So we're now back into the top 10. Looks like Signs was behind us, unfortunately, so we're not going to gain that extra place, but still, we're right in the mix now. We've got 4 cars up ahead. If we get past all 4 of these boys, we'll be up to P6. I can see Bottas. He's at the front of it. Let's try and get after him. I like this. This definitely could be a 2-for-1 special. The only issue is I think Perez might be close enough to nick some DRS off Verstappen, but I'm going to get Lando anyway. He's definitely going down. Here we go. Come on. Come on. We're struggling to get that straight on speed, but it's got to happen. Okay, Perez doesn't have DRS. This is it. This is our chance. We're going to try and go to the outside. Can we get Lando as well around the outside of turn 1? Yes, we can. We throw the car around the outside. Lando's still on the inside there of turn 2. We're going to leave plenty of room because I'm just very scared of the AI around here. I don't trust anybody. We don't have DRS.
Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
I'm just going to kind of weave a little bit aggressively on the straight just to stay ahead, which we do. And we're now up to 8th place. We've got Verstappen, Bottas and Albon up the road, I believe. And an AlphaTauri in there as well, I think. So we can definitely do this. We're running out of laps, but we need to close up here. Very important phase of the race. Okay, this lap the move is getting done. Make no mistake about it. This time it's happening. Verstappen there getting a bit loose through the first part of the chicane. Just trying to manage my ERS and my fuel a little bit. And now we're going to go for it, full power. And we're going to breeze past on the straight. It's not even going to be close. Verstappen with a bit of a jink to the left, but we're through nonetheless. And P6 is ours. And to be fair, we've got Bottas and Albon up the road, so it's definitely P4 that we're aiming for in this race. Make that P3. I actually see 3 cars there, so we can get a podium out of this. Come on, 3 laps to go. 3 cars to pass. We can do this. It's going to be tight. The rain could play a factor here. Oh, okay, the rain's coming down. Meanwhile, Bottas and Albon up ahead, battling away. This is allowing the AlphaTauri up ahead to pull away and secure this podium. Now, how quick is this rain going to come down? Do we make an inspired decision to come to the pit lane and go for inters? Or do we hang it out there on the dries? I think it feels okay for now, so we're going to stick with the dries. Bottas and Albon are going to swap places. This is going to be very interesting. A very tasty 2 laps. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is really going to come down to the very last corner, I feel like, or a drag race to the line. Let's see if we can get Albon here. I'd like to get him into turn 3, potentially. That would be ideal for us. What's the grip like? I'm being very cautious and tippy-toeing my way around. That's okay. Decent enough traction. Albon has DRS, but we're going to have a good bit of straight line speed in us anyway to get this one done. Around the outside, we go a bit late, but we go through. Albon spins into the wall.
Okay, clear.
I believe it was a carbon copy to the Kvyat incident, but Albon this time has come off worse. I left plenty of room on the inside. I completely ran deep into the corner, so that's going to be all on Albon. I can see it already. Anyway, let's close down on Stroll and Bottas here. All right, this is going to be interesting then. Oh, Bottas with a big snap through the chicane. I thought he was about to get Stroll, but we're going to get the chance to get Bottas here. Come on, we're starting to run out of ERS though. I've got to be careful. But this could happen. Look at this. We're gaining on Stroll rapidly down towards turn 1. The grip is starting to get a little bit thin as well. We're going to try and go around the outside of Valtteri. But of course, Bottas on exact same age, medium tyres as myself. We're going to have to hang back for now. But this is going to get really spicy. Last lap of the race, all or nothing here for a podium. This could be massive for us. We're going to save a little bit of fuel. This may come down to a final drag race. Oh, big lock up there. Grip starting to get very thin now. Got to be careful. I've got to stay in the race and not throw it away. It all comes down to this. The AI are so good on traction in these mixed conditions. It's so hard to match them. Ricciardo wins the race. Wow, that's a big surprise. I think I'm too far away, unfortunately. To be fair, though, Bottas and Stroll may have run out of energy here. Their lights are flashing. Could this be a late push? I think they've both run out of energy. It's a last lap push. I don't think we've got enough, unfortunately. We're really gaining to the line. It's shades of 2017, but it's only P5. That's a shame.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It's never an easy race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant win here today. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
Wow, guys, what a race. Absolutely insane. But my race wasn't all that crazy when you consider Ricciardo won the race by 0.052 ahead of Hamilton, which means he must have won that on a race to the line. That must have been absolutely crazy. Stroll again picks up a podium in Baku. There's something about Baku and Stroll. He always does well around here, and he gets a crazy podium for the AlphaTauri team. Bottas P4, we finished P5. I wasn't able to do it. The rain ultimately didn't help me out because the AI, of course, with their traction control that they have, that last lap, even though I had the best tyres, my rears, I just couldn't hold on. You know, the AI just got such good traction out of every single corner, and I wasn't able to challenge. So it was a bit of a shame, and you know, our best chance was unfortunately the penultimate lap where we tried to go around the outside of Bottas. But with that said, I'll still take P5 on the recovery. We also get the fastest lap ahead of Verstappen, Leclerc, Vettel, Norris, Perez, and then Magnussen missing out on the points, along with Gasly, Ocon, De Vries, Kvyat, Aitken, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, Sainz, and then Albon actually got disqualified in the end after that incident. So this race had it all, guys. Rain, crashes, front wing loss, spins, a surprise podium. But with that said, we move into the standings, and we are still 17 points clear at the top. Ricciardo moves up to third place with his first race win of the season, and it's the first time the second driver of the 97 Martini F1 team has actually won a race. So history again here today. He overtakes Bottas in the driver standings. Lance Stroll up to P10 with that podium. And in terms of the constructors, we take the lead once again, and we extend our lead over Mercedes to 22 points, which is insane, and really happy with that one. What a performance, what a race, and a great recovery. Ricciardo as well, you know, he started P10, won the race, fair play. A brilliant race from both of us. We had a couple of scraps in between, and I have no doubts it would have been a straight fight between me and Ricciardo had it been a normal race. But nonetheless, that is it for the race here at Baku, guys. We're now going to move into the laptop for some more future updates.
How did your team respond to the poor conditions today?
I think they've done really well. I think we had a great strategy. To be fair, the rain didn't affect us too much in terms of the actual race strategy. But yeah, good. The team done a good job today. Really good job.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
Not really. I had a few issues, you know, when the rain started to fall. I think that's normal. But, you know, that's just part of F1, really.
Sounds like there's some work to do back at the factory.
And after that race, we look at the rivalry breakdown, and unfortunately, Lewis Hamilton does outscore us this weekend in the race and also in qualifying as well. So, not the best Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it has to be said, but hopefully we can try and do better in the next race weekend. We are now level 17 ourselves as a driver, and as a team we're getting closer and closer now to level 21, and Ricciardo also now well on his way to level 17 with that race win. Also full payout in terms of the bonuses and sponsors here today, which is great, and a few damage deductions of course due to qualifying. So yeah, overall a good weekend, no complaints on my end, and we're now well over $15 million, which is pretty damn insane. Well, it looks like we have quite a short turnaround until the next race in Canada, only 3 days. Therefore, we're just going to assign a couple of activities. We're going to do some simulator training for Danny Rick, and we're going to see if we can try and squeeze on some upgrades for the future. So we have 2,200 points. We're probably going to keep working on the durability until another team catches us up. I feel like this is a good way to work, so we are going to purchase an ICE durability level 2 upgrade, and hopefully that will arrive very soon. We have 965 points left over. We'll save those and try and purchase an upgrade later on in the next episode. So guys, with that said, that is going to be it from me here today. We're now going to skip ahead to Canada, and we're now ready for the very next episode. But guys, If you enjoyed today's episode of the My Team Career Mode, drop a like. Let's see if we can try and hit 1,000 likes for today's episode. Also subscribe if you are new to the channel, guys, for daily F1 content on the channel. And check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you haven't checked them out already. And I'll see you all next time for the Canadian Grand Prix. But until then, guys, take care and it's goodbye from me.